Hi, my name is Anita Murray, and I'm a decorative painter. For those who don't know me, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and of course, YouTube. My last pattern packet that I have on my website was a set of 3 little frames, and there's 3 different little words, believe, confident, and inspire. So there's a bunch of different little techniques on these ones. Today I want to do a kindness matters, and it's with decoupage, a little bit of mixed media on here, except it's done on a plaque, and I'll be using some Decor Americana paints and some Dynasty brushes, some black gold brushes. And so I'm going to put my camera down so that we can get started. Okay. This a little straight. Okay. Now this here I got at the dollar store. There's already a picture on it, so I sanded it down with my little sander. There was also a string, jute string in the back, but I wanted to do some holes to put a little wire on it. I'm gonna just push this over here instead. Okay, now the first step I want to do is put some gesso on it just to cover this up a little bit. So I'm using the Americana Premium White Gesso. I'm going to put that on my palette paper. Okay. And I'm just going to move my palette paper so you can see what I'm doing. And I like using Palmer brushes for any medium that I use. Like it lasts really good, and they're really soft synthetic brushes. Okay, now I'm going to apply some gesso, and I'm just going to rub this in one direction. Okay, the size doesn't really matter, but I just want to get a little bit of the picture. I might need a little bit more. And you don't need your brush wet when you're using gesso. You can use it dry. The premium gesso is a little thicker. That's why I like that one. I always go just in the same direction. Okay, I'm going to dry this, and then we're going to do another coat, but we're going to mix the gesso with some Snow White. I'm just going to dry this off. I think I should have brought my other bottle down with me. Doesn't take long to dry. Okay, so I have more gesso on there. I'm just gonna mix some Snow White with it. Let's see if I can get a little bit more. There. Okay, I'm gonna use a palette knife and just mix that all up together. This pattern packet will be on my website if anyone is interested in following along with me. Okay, now I just want to sand this down just a little bit. I have a little sanding pad. Just so it's smooth. Okay, and then I always take a tacky cloth. I always wipe the dust off. Okay, now let's put another coat on here. So we'll go on a little bit better. So long, even brush strokes. Make sure I don't get any on that. Okay, now I got a little bit of design showing there. Okay, now let's dry this off. And we're gonna need like a little iron. I have like a little Cricut machine, so I'm gonna just turn that on ahead of time. You can use a regular iron if you have it. It's on a little thicker, so it will take a little bit to dry. Okay, I went ahead and dried it. So I'm gonna sand it again so you don't get any rough lines and brush strokes. Okay. Whoops. I'll wipe the dust off again. There. Okay. My next step is applying some tissue paper. This is from Tim Holtz. I don't think they have these anymore. Now they're in little round tubes. But any little tissue paper work. And what I like about this, you can have it any like there's two different ways of putting paper. You can put it like this, the writing straight up, or and sometimes they have it the other way around, depending on where you're at on the paper. So here, I would love to have. Okay, we're gonna have these nice butterflies. So you can pick where you want. I think I want this big butterfly. This one here, I had a really nice butterfly on that side. This one here will be on top. So maybe I'm going to save these ones for tags, but I'll use this big butterfly. Okay, so that please. Okay, and might just cut a little bit off the edges, just a little bit. So I won't need all that paper. Save these for scraps. And then we'll put off of here. Okay. And then a little bit on up here. That one has nice grading. I think I'm going to put a little bit of that writing on here. Okay. I have my paper set. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is I'm using matte medium. You can also use decoupage. And I'm going to use my Palmer brush again. Okay, so I'm going to apply on the surface. Nice thick layer. Make sure you get the edges as well, okay? Everywhere. Sure, there's a little gloss. Okay, so I got it all over my surface. Along the edges. Okay, just put that there. Now I'm going to take my paper. I'm going to place it where I want it. A little bit of that writing. Okay, and then push down on it. Okay. And I'm going to dry this off. And then we're going to iron it. Now, there's another way too of doing this is if you dry the matte medium before applying the paper. The reason I have my little iron is because it's going to take off all these little ridges, okay? Now, you can use parchment paper, or I have what you call Teflon paper. I'm going to take my little iron, and you're going to just press on this to get the whole surface. So we're ironing it. Just keep going up and down or sideways. Just going to take a peek. I'm sure. See, so it takes off all the ridges. I'm just going to close this. Okay, now I'm going to just want to dry it. Make sure it's dry before I put sand my sides down. So yeah, like it just removes all the ridges. Okay, I'm gonna take sandpaper. Sandpaper or my little sanding pad is good. So just rub along the edges to remove the paper. No, I think I need sandpaper. Oh, it's right here, right in front of me. Okay. Just go along the edge and it'll cut all that off. Okay. So, okay. So a little bit of dust. think I put my paper on a little crooked, but that's okay. Okay, now I'm going to put another layer of matte medium on top of this. This will protect our paper. Doesn't have to be as thick as what we put on the surface. Okay, no, we're done with this one. Oops. Okay. Let's try that. This gets really sticky, so it has to be dry really, really well. Don't have tissue paper, you can always use scrapbook paper, printed, you can print anything off the computer, Pinterest, you can find stuff on there to print. Okay, that's good. Okay, now my next step is it's Deco Art Vintage Effect Wash, and this one is white. I'm just gonna shake it a little bit there. Okay. Now I'm gonna use it's a flat wash, it's a 3/4, and I'm gonna apply some of this. You can apply this thick as well. So what's this gonna do? What I'm trying to do is just so that the background is not as dark. It's just gonna tone down the background, all that writing and okay. And what I'm going to do is dry this off, and then we're gonna remove a little bit of this wash. I'm gonna just put that there. Just dry it a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna take paper towel, okay, and just go along and just wipe some off. Don't need to press hard, just lightly just remove some of it off. And if you remove too much off, then you can go back in and apply a little bit more. Right here, there. Okay. Now, if I wanted to, I can just make this a little bit lighter. This one here. Okay, now let's dry this off. Okay, once this is dry, we're going to use there's a couple of spots. We're going to use another color to apply to that. And this one here, I'm using crystal blue. And we're done with this one. Let's go put that away. Okay, I'm just gonna just wipe the white off and then just use the same brush. Okay, now just shake my bottle. I'm gonna put some on this palette. Okay, this a little closer. And this one here, I applied it in different little sections. Just slap that on there. And take another paper towel and just wipe some of this off. And this will take some of the, it takes like a couple of layers off too, which is nice. Okay, now let's dry this off again. Your background will never look the same, depending on how much you put on. It'll always be different. Mixed media is always different. It does get a little sticky there. Okay, we're gonna let this dry a little bit because I find it's a little sticky from layers. I have well, what we can do is base coat these little beads while we're waiting for this. I have they're a bag of assorted beads. You can get them at any craft store. They're little round beads. And so I have two big ones, whoops, two medium ones and two little ones. Okay, I used crystal blue, I used joyful pink, and some desert cactus. So let's paint those while we're waiting for it to dry a little bit. I only did one coat and it's not perfect. It's a little, looks a little distressed. I can even sand these down a little bit. Okay, and I'm just going to use a little 1/4-inch flat wash. Okay, I did the big ones. Right, thick coat. I'm sure there's a better way of painting little beads without getting your fingers all dirty. I'm going to put those on my palette so that they dry. Oh, I need the big one. Brush off fingers. Okay, and the next color I'm going to use is the desert cactus. Oops, wrong color. Little bead there. This one. Okay, and then we'll use joyful pink. Let's wipe a little bit of this green off. Those don't take long to dry either. Beads are done. Don't worry about later. Okay, now I find it's still a little bit too much glue. I just want to see if I can wipe some off with my baby wipe. That's good. Okay. The next step that I do is it's a Deco Art Premium Heavy Gel Medium. I like putting that on for when you're doing like a rouging, so it's easier to glide the paint and maneuver it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit on my palette. You don't need a whole lot. And I'm going to use my Palmer brush. And this one here, you can slip slap it so that you have different little sections when you're like directions and stuff when you're rouging. You put this on fairly thick if you want to. Make sure you get it along the edge. Stick some off the sides here. Okay, and dry it again. Stick some of the flowers that's on the side. I don't know if you can see, but you can see the brush strokes on there. They're all different little direction. Okay, so I'm going to dry this off a little bit more. Okay, it's fairly dry. And so now we're going to do the rouging, and I'm using asphaltum. I'm going to shake this up really good. And I'm going to use a paper towel right here. And I'm going to wet it a little bit, okay? I have it damped. Okay, that'll help move the paint around a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to pick some up. Okay, and I'm going to start from the edge and just go in circles and right till you get to the center. You can go in different little areas there. Just keep picking it up. And we're going to darken the edges some more. Just turn this around. Okay, now I want to go more to the center here to get some in there. Dark edges. And to make this darker, just tap when you get to the sections. Some little dark areas. And a little bit more here. Okay, once you're happy with it, you can stop and then we'll draw it some more. Okay, so I still see some blue, a little bit more than this one. Okay, I'm okay with this. So let's just dry this some more. We're going to distress it after. Okay, now this is dry. Okay, what I did was I sanded the surface and some of the paint it'll be removed. So you can skip that part if you don't like it distressed. This has a little rough. And so what I'm going to do is, and it's okay if your paper comes off, we're distressing it. Okay, even like the corners, paper might come off because it's not fully dry. And then going circles along the center. This will remove some paint and some white will show up. Not pressing as hard. I'm trying just to smooth the surface a little bit. There. I'm okay with that. I like this. Okay, I'm just gonna take my tacky cloth and just wipe some of this stuff off. Okay, I'm gonna clean the surface here a little bit. Some of this paper. Okay. Now it's dry and let's transfer. We're going to transfer our pattern. Have it up here. Goes this way. Okay, I'm just going to move my palette. Okay, now I have it about here. You got to leave enough room to put your words up there. So I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. And that's good right here. Okay, I have the black graphite paper. And put that underneath. Okay, and I need my stylus. Okay. And halfway before I go to my, I like to go make sure that it goes all the way through. Right then, this one needs to be a little bit darker. These are my little buds. Okay, almost done. Okay, before I take it off, good. And my hand kind of smudged the paper, but that's okay. Now, I'm gonna take this. Okay, I did an undercoat with a mix of gesso and Snow White just to undercoat so that the pink shows up when we paint. Okay, now I'm gonna do another. I don't need a whole lot. Okay, gesso and a mix of Snow White. Take my palette knife and mix that together. Oops. That way it's a little thicker. I won't need, hopefully I just need the one coat. I'm going to use the number 5 round brush to base coat my petals. Just follow the petals, like the curves and stuff. Probably give 2 coats. And you can also do the center because the center will be yellow. That's one coat for there. And can't see my line here. Goes on really good. It's okay if your lines aren't perfect or you go over the line, that's okay. We're going to outline it after. Okay, and I'm going to do my center. And then you can also do the bud, that too. Okay, and then over here. Okay, and one more right over here. Okay, now I'm going to dry this and I'm going to put another coat on, okay? Okay, I applied my 2 coats. Now I'm going to base coat my petals with a Joyful Pink. I'm going to use the same number 5 round. Always use the brush that's you're comfortable with or suited to like how big and small the area is for you. So now just re-coat Joyful Pink. I want to be a little bit more careful when I'm base coating. Sometimes you may need a second coat. This around. I might have to put another coat. I'm not really sure. I'll find out once it dries a little bit. I try not to get the center too much because that'll be yellow and you don't want to really see the pink through that. So I'm just a little careful when I get to the center area. Okay, and make sure you don't touch the wet paint if you're like me and turning the pieces around. Okay, and do this part here. And I think I'm going to put another coat on the petals, just so it's a nice solid color. Okay, and my little buds. Okay, now let's try this out. I'm gonna put another coat on this. Okay, let's try. I need a little bit more. Oh, there, I should turn my light just a little bit more. Oh, that's too dim. That's a little bit better. The second coat is better than the petals. It goes on way better. Oops. And buds and the petals over here. Alrighty. Okay, let's try this. And let's start adding some details to our flower. Okay, we're gonna float the petals, and I use red violet, a very pretty color. Very, it's a little bit transparent too. Okay, now I use an angle brush. You can use a flat, whatever brush you're comfy with. Okay, and I'm gonna wet it. And this is a 3/8. Now I like using dry time extender on my brush. It helps with the paint flow shading, because sometimes it's dry. So I'll dip into the extender. I'm going to pick up the red violet on the toe of the brush and blend really well. And I'm going to start like over here, and so I'm going to do like a messy little float. And if you need to I like using mop brushes. And what I do is I just tap the little edge there so that there's no rough lines when you're floating. Again, I just go to the end. Soften this up. And I'll use paper towel, and I just keep wiping it so that it stays dry. When you need to, just pick up a little bit more color. What you're doing is just along the bottom by the center area. Turn your brush if you need to. Just soften this up. Just dab. Okay, I'm gonna clean my brush and reload. So this extender, it just helps me float and highlight a little bit better. It's also good for blending colors together. Edge. Oh, and I got one more over here on the top. The background actually is probably the longest part of the project. And the little buds, they're near the end here. Along the stem. Okay, I'm going to clean my brush. Okay, and over here, I'm going to go a little bit higher on the petal because it's longer. So again, if you need to, just soften it up. And this one over here, I can go a little higher. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to dry this and we're going to add the highlights. Like I said, the flower, there's not much to it. It's more the background. And the highlight is done with Snow White. Okay, and this one. And pick up some white. I still have some on my palette. Okay, and I do this choppy. Okay. And I'm going to soften it if I have to. And this, it also toned down once it dries. Like right now, it looks really wet. So when it dries, it'll tone down. Just make it choppy. And it's really basically just the tips. Soften it up. So here. And if we have to, we can brighten it up later. This is dry if I find I need more highlight. Okay, and this one over here, it's more on the top part. Okay, and over here. Now there's a little harsh line right there. I'm just going to wet it and just clean it up. I'm going to clean my brush and just reload again. Some extender. Okay, I'm just going to finish this little section here. This one here. Okay, and then we have that one. So again, you're not going too down. You're just doing like the top parts. Soften it. Okay, I'll do this one here. Okay, once you find your brush strokes, clean it and just reload. I'm just gonna reload here. Got what color I was using. Okay, so then over here. Just find messy float or messy highlight, I should say. And over here. And down here. There. Now I'm going to dry this and I'm just going to check if I need a little bit brighter. These ones here might be needing a little bit bright. I'm just going to right here. Okay. I think I might bring this down just a little bit right here. And this a little bit brighter. That looks good. I'm gonna do the stems, and that's with avocado. Okay, I have avocado, and we're also going to highlight it with the desert cactus. Okay, I'll put some on the palette. And I use this here is number 2 rigger. So I'm going to wet it. Okay, and load it. You do need 2 coats because it's not as thick of a green. And if I can see my line. So just keep reloading. try not to make it too thick of a stem here. This one here. This one here, can make it like if you're making a star, and then go down. Have over here. Actually, the one coat did pretty good. Oh, it is put some highlight down the center. So I'm going to clean my brush and I'm going to pick up some desert cactus and then just go like in the, it's like messy. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just make sure you don't go over top that one. Stay behind it. And then here too. And the paint can be wet. And so there we go. There's our highlight. Okay, now we're going to do our center. I have saffron yellow. Put that. Okay. And I'm going to use the number 5 round and base coat with yellow. And I dabbed the center because it's really transparent a little bit, this yellow. Oh, gotta make sure my hands don't go on the wet paint. I should have dried it first. Okay, let's just dry that and then I'll add another coat of yellow. I want to float the bottom of the center with asphaltum. I'm going to use my angle brush. Okay, and I'm just doing the little bottom part. Just choppy. Okay, now I did float all along underneath the petals just to add some like dark little areas there. We're going to do that. So with asphaltum and my angle brush. Okay, now I so gently, and I should have used some little bit extender on there. Just 1 sec. Just so it's easier to float. Now go around. Just use your little edge when it's really tight little corners there. Just use the little tip. And some areas you won't be able to get into. Okay, and left side, underneath. those, and over here underneath, right side. Okay, and over here. Okay, and for the stem, I did all the, like this one here, I did underneath it. I'm gonna go here, and then this one here, I did underneath as well. And this one here, I did the left side. This one is the left side. This one too. And left side. Make this a little darker. Okay. Now we're gonna let that dry, and we're gonna do the work on the words. Okay. Now I have printed, so this will be with the pattern you print it. And I'm just gonna move this aside for a second. Now what I do is I'll just take my angled brush and I wet all the way around it. So really wet it, and then here too. And then I'm gonna rip all the way around it in the wet part. And it's gonna rip this across. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is wet it some more. Now I'm gonna fix it so there's not too much paper around it. Let's rip it up. Really. If I need to shrink it a little bit more, I will. I just don't know how much room I have. Let me just see how much room I have on here. So my hole will be about here. And this matters. So I'll end up being, I can move it like this. I think take a little bit off here. Let's take a little bit more off the end here. You can also oh no, you won't be able to shrink the words. Okay, I think that's good. Yeah, I think that's good like that. Okay. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is use the round brush, and I'm gonna take this fall tumbler and just rub along the edge, so that part here gets a little dark. Gonna do the same here. Okay, and just gonna dry that up a minute. I'm gonna really wet my brush, and I'm going to water down the asphaltum. So I want it a little bit more watered down. Okay, let me try this off. Now these words do look a little bit bigger than those ones. I might have enlarged it a little too much. Okay, now we're going to glue them on our surface. And I'm going to use my matte medium. And oops. I'm going to use my Palmer brush. Okay. So for this one here, let me just get on there. I'm going to put some in the back. Okay, place it. It is messy, but it's fun. Okay, push that down. And now I'm going to put some on the top. I'm going to dry that off. Okay, I want to float underneath these words here with the same asphaltum. I need fresh little puddle, just a little bit. Just want to float a little bit underneath. It's messy. Right. Now we can outline our flower and still let that dry. I used it is the Pigma Micron, our archival ink. This is number 3 and a number 1. You can use either or. And this one's a number 1. So what I did was outline a couple times around it. I don't press very hard. And when I get to the end, I just wiggled along the center there. So go, I'm going to try number 3. It's not as thick. And sometimes you have to rewrite on a paper just to get the ink running again. If you don't have these markers, you can use the IdentiPen. Those work as well. So go a couple times around. Okay, Mom. Okay, let me get a piece of paper here. What happens if this is not really like dry? You just have to go on the paper and just make the ink run a little bit. Hold it like it works better if you hold it straight up. And I'm going to go around my center. And you can see it like this. And I'm just going to scribble on my paper. Okay. And then over here, go around a couple of times. Right here, and then I'll do the center part. So I just wiggle the pen. And I'm going to do the stem as well. Okay. Dark. Probably can't see it as much, but I can see that it is there. And just keep going right to the top there. Okay, and after I have an Identi-Pen here. I just want to see if it'll work better. Okay, I outlined the inside of the words if you have room anyways. A couple times. So the Identi-Pen works really good. Okay. Now we're gonna put our little, oh yeah, there's another part here that I did was a stamp. And you don't need to do this one here. I already had it, so I thought I'd add it. I used the archival ink. And then just make this. And I have this, it's called Cling Grunge strip by Aurora. And it's got that little circle. And I'm just gonna put in a couple of little areas. Okay, so I added 3. You must have put, depending on what paper you're using, you got a really nice writing one. So you can put that like on a couple of little spots. Let's see, I put it on my flower by accident, but it actually looks good. guess you don't need to do this little part, but I thought it'd be nice to fill in some spots. Okay, let's add our little wire and beads. I have this one here. I used it's a really thin one. I think I got this from Stockade. So I did it twice around, but I want to try using this thicker one. It's a 20 gauge wire, and I got this at the dollar store. And I'm gonna go through. Oh, first I need to put my beads. So I need this one here, the green, and the pink will go on that side. And then over here, I need pink, need my green, and my blue. Okay, now let's go here. Now what I did, I added a couple of little spots here. Now just twirl it around this one, just so that when you hang it, it doesn't flop on the one side. And it is sharp, so make sure you don't stab yourself. And then my colors will come down here. And then what I do is I take a brush and I twirl it around a couple times just to add some little. And add a couple here, wherever you want. A couple there. Okay, and then I need to see, oops, I need to add a little bit more over here. That'll be my center. You kind of have to judge how long you need it. And then it's here, will be the end. Let's push this. Okay, that looks about good. Now I'm going to cut some of it off. Now, that through, and it'll give me an idea if I need to cut a little bit more off. It's better to have extra. Okay, so let me, that should be good. I'm going to twirl this around. Okay, and then I'll just cut the excess wire. Yeah. And that completes my little YouTube video. Yeah, I like it. I might even go back and put some of this writing on my flower here. I think that's really neat. So I hope you like this video. Please subscribe to my channel. It helps me grow. Again, my pattern packet will be on my website if you're interested in following with me. And thanks for joining.